Video log 009. Not feeling too hot right now. I've been pretty happy, almost ecstatic the last week or so. And I feel like it's kind of against my usual nature to be so cheerful. And I feel like I've been riding a high point for so long that I just am finally dropping off. Kind of coming off my high on life. It's really kicking my butt. Kind of going back to the old thoughts and just it's not feeling too good. Figured I'd just start talking and hopefully that'll help me out. Thinking about dying again and how that scares me. Feeling very lonely. I was in love once, and she broke my heart, and that wound is healed, but I still miss the old feelings, the happy ones, the good ones. I guess I also miss some of the bad ones too, because that's what came with it. I know I've still got years and years ahead of me, but I guess I'm just impatient. I want it now. I want to be in love again. And it hurts. I really hope I can find somebody. I doubt I'll find it in Redmond, but if I can find someone that I can be affectionate towards and have fun with without sex, that just screws everything up. Just someone that I can actually be with without having to always be around. Somebody that's comfortable with not seeing me for maybe days or even weeks on end, if that's what comes to it. But just somebody that I can actually trust, which is very hard. I have a hard time trusting pretty much anybody anymore, because everybody's screwing everyone over. Right now, one of my closest friends, his girlfriend's two-timing him with somebody else and doesn't seem to know it. I won't mention names. It's just really sad, because he appears to be so in love, and it's kind of how I felt. And it's disappointing. I lose my faith in people when I see things like that. I'm disappointed in the men and the women that just act completely on impulse and do whatever the heck they feel like it without thinking about the consequences. Because there are consequences. It's impossible to find people with honor and integrity anymore. I try and live my life by that, and I know I screw up, but that's human nature. And I try and correct those mistakes, or at least better myself from them. And I apologize for my wrongdoings. I always try to. But today people have no honor. Not that I've seen in a long time. At least not in my generation. My generation has very little honor, very little respect, very little integrity, very little accountability. They're all kind of synonymous, but they each have their own individual parts of the meaning. And I'm just worried that I will never find someone who's trustworthy, someone that I could share my heart with without them breaking it again. And it just hurts me to see that. I don't want the people that I care about to be being played. I don't want to be played myself. I don't like being around players. It's It's not a way to live. It's horrible is what it is. It's an atrocity, and I am ashamed of people. I'm almost ashamed to be a human being because of the atrocities that humanity has committed against itself, that people commit against to one another. It's horrendous, it's offensive, it's repulsive, and most of all, it's tragic. People put their hearts and their souls into their relationships with others, and then they just get walked on, they get stomped on, they get their hearts broken, they get drug along the ground, beaten and battered by their own emotions and their own feelings and everybody else, until all that's left of them is just an empty husk of a human being that's not even close to a shadow of its former self. That's why people commit suicide. That's why people drink themselves into early graves. That's why people do drugs. They just have to disconnect. They have to numb from the pain. And those of us who somehow manage to control that pain and cope with it without those substances, people like me, we live in agony. And I don't want to set myself out from the rest of the crowd, because I don't believe myself to be that much more unique than anybody else. Everybody's unique in their own ways. But I do think decently of myself. I'm not going to put myself down and say, oh, I am nothing compared to anybody else, because I do try and be a decent human being. I do deserve some respect. I've worked for that, and I treat people with enough respect, and I honor people. I show them that I do think that they matter. And I think that, on my part, is a sign of honor, and it's a sign of my integrity. And again, I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal, but I don't see why more people try and live their lives this way. Yes, I know it's a lot harder because you live with pain, but pain just, it makes you grow. And you'll turn into somebody you hate for a while, and then you'll change into somebody you love. Hopefully I'm right in that process of changing. End of video log 009.